let's go to the tail of the tape. In this corner, the PlayStation 5 controller, and in this corner, the Xbox Series X or S controller. They're going to fight to the death, or till the batteries run out. Kalika-lika-low. I said the batteries run out. If that was the case, the only one that has the batteries would be the Microsoft controller, because the other one's charged. But let's all get into it. I'm going to talk about these two controllers, okay? I've had, I won't say a lot of time with them. I played with both of them. Oh crap, I can't do this review. I don't know why I didn't think this all the way through. I can't do this review. I guess I kind of can do, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I already started, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, we're going to look at both controllers, but asterisk, okay? The PlayStation 5 I haven't found yet. I don't have the PlayStation 5. I have the PlayStation 5 controller, okay? I did run and get that, okay? I've been fighting to get these next-gen systems, okay? Got the next-gen PC. I got what I like to think is a next-gen phone because it plays great mobile games. I've got a next-gen Xbox Series S, okay? I've got a PC that games and edits, and I'm there. I got to find a Switch. So I'm trying. I just can't find this system. I have a video on how to find the next gen system, 2 of them I believe. Go listen to those. It's gonna help you find a system. Trust me, it is, because I found one, I've gotten close on the other one, and I've given my tips to family members and friends, and for some reason it's worked for some of them, just not me yet. So anyways, let's get into it. I'm not gonna make this video long because clearly I just told you the secret recipe is I can't comment really on all the features that is the PlayStation controller because I don't have it, but I can tell you how they feel and the weight and all this other stuff. So let's get into it. I have the Xbox Series S, and there's a chance you're gonna hear sound effects in the background because I'm in the den, and I'm in the Panthers den, and I am gonna click the buttons and do all the other stuff so you can kind of hear it. There's no reason for me to show pictures for the most part. You might see pictures, but not videos. This is not that kind of channel right now. I don't think I'll ever be that channel. There's a lot of great videos out there and reviews where you can physically see, I guess somewhat see the controllers. I'm just gonna give you my take, and I hope it is genuine. Well, it is genuine. I hope it answers the question. So let me get into it. Both controllers feel about the same weight, which is very surprising knowing what PlayStation has in their controller, because PlayStation has the DualSense, which if you haven't seen online, you know, it pushes back on the triggers, and I'm gonna butcher the word, the haptic feedback is similar to like a cell phone. So you'll have that, you know, feature inside. Now, Xbox, other than the 2 batteries that you put in, and it feels like a significant rumble, which is just the standard rumble. It's weird that they weigh the same, even though they are different. Now, the size of them is about the same. Xbox controllers stayed the same. It's basically been the same controller since the Xbox 360. The only thing that's changed with this controller is they've added something that's similar to their Elite controller, you know, the more expensive one, where you do have grips on the triggers. You don't have it on the shoulder buttons. And you have a new button, which is the share button. So you can go ahead and share and comment and do stuff like that. Now, I'll do another video about how I feel about the operating system and the Xbox Series S itself. But as of right now, just focusing on the controller is loud, okay? This is me hitting the shoulder buttons, okay? So if you're sitting there playing, maybe you hear it, maybe you don't, because I'm not pointing it at the mic. But it is loud if you're one of the type that'll worry about, can someone else hear me mashing buttons? The trigger buttons feel great. The trigger buttons are awesome. The trigger buttons feel better than the PlayStation 5 buttons. That's just my feel on it. They're both are very similar in it, but just the shape of how the Xbox controller is, it feels like a trigger, like a gun trigger. And the PlayStation's a little smoother towards the end, a little sharper at the end, but not a curl as much as the Xbox. But the way you pull the trigger, you feel that weight as you're pulling it. And on the PlayStation, it's a little softer. When you go to the shoulder buttons on the PlayStation, the shoulder buttons, same sound. That's it, same sound. But the shoulder buttons are larger. So if you maybe have a smaller hand, you got more area to hit that button. On the Xbox Series controller, it's smaller. It's not as big as, and I want to, how can I put it? The Xbox controller is longer. So picture your finger going where the shoulder button is. It's going to fill the whole, I guess, the whole finger, maybe one or two of the segments of your finger. It's going to fill it. The PlayStation shoulder button, it's smaller. It's basically like almost like your thumbprint. But because I guess it's wider, it feels like it's covering more area, even though the Xbox controller is longer. So, if you have longer hands or something, which is weird because I feel like you would just eclipse the controller, because I have large hands and I'm able to, my thumbs will knock and bump into each other because of that. On the PlayStation controller, it's not the case. My fingers don't bump into each other as much. It's a little bit, I don't know, I guess it's a little wider in that aspect. The joystick feels better on the PlayStation controller. It just, for some reason, feels more responsive. It doesn't make as much noise. They both have textured rims on them, but the Xbox controller, when you're hitting, because I just switched from the PlayStation, so if you didn't hear that before, that was a PlayStation. The Xbox just has more of a sound when you're hitting the controller. It's not that it doesn't feel good. It's just, it sounds, it has more sound. Now, when you're playing with it, it's a softer joystick, and that could be a good thing for you. The PlayStation's a firmer joystick. It's almost like it has assistance on getting back to the middle, versus the Xbox. It's soft. It might get away from you. As for the buttons on the Xbox, you press them, they're making noise. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not waking anybody up. But they don't feel premium. And that's the thing with the Xbox controller. It doesn't feel premium. The logo in the middle, if you press it a bunch of times, it doesn't do anything to the system. At least not yet. They can change it with updates. But you have to hold down the button to start the system. Now, maybe that's just a preference. I'm used to maybe PlayStation where you just press it and it's turning on the system. And if you hold it and do certain things with it, then it changes what the system is going to do. The PlayStation controller feels premium. And I'm not even talking about the DualSense thing, because again, I haven't had a chance to try that. What I mean is just when you hit the D-pad, it's a softer D-pad. The D-pad has this glass look, even though it is necessarily plastic. But if you look at the D-pad or touch the D-pad on the Xbox, even though the Xbox has that, I want to say instead of it having 4, it's like an 8-directional pad D-pad, which is actually pretty cool. It's noisier, and the clicks are they're a tight click on them, versus the PlayStation 5, it's soft. You can't hear it. You can't hear any of that, okay? Now, when you look at the speaker on it, I don't see a speaker on the Xbox controller. But there is a speaker on the PlayStation controller. There's also a microphone on the PlayStation controller and a light to let you know that the mic is on, so that you don't have to worry about that. So, possibly making it where you don't have to wear a headset when you're gaming. And that's pretty cool. Now, I've heard people having issues with having a headset for the Xbox controller, but I'm using my Corsair Air headset for my PC, and it plugs in, it works just fine. Both of these do hook up versus the new USB Type-C, so that's awesome. Both of them work on the PC. The Xbox controller, obviously, it's playground. It works better, meaning that it does more functionality in the operating system versus the PlayStation 5. But I think that all changes when you get drivers and third-party companies that work on these controllers. Also, I played, in whether it was Steam, whether it was Epic Games, Ubisoft Connect, I played games with these controllers and they work the same. There's no significant issue or anything like that. My vote would have to be the PlayStation 5 controller, because I've done a video before. I feel like the DualSense is what next gen is. I don't feel it's gimmicky. They added on with the touchpad that you saw in the previous PlayStation 4, where you have a screen that you can touch and press it and do things with it. And by them building this into another generation, it's going to continue, especially first party developers, to use these objects, not making them a gimmick. They did make the controller for the PlayStation larger. It is a larger, it's almost like they took a page out of Microsoft's controller scheme as far as making it more, it's fuller in the hand, versus the PlayStation 4 controller and the 3 were very small in your hand if you had a large size hand or bigger. I've got another video on the PlayStation controller. But again, it already has a share button. It already has the menu button. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to try this out with the system, but from what I'm feeling in my hand, it just feels like a better controller. It feels that is a premium. Now the Xbox, there's nothing wrong with the Xbox controller. They never changed it. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? It just doesn't feel next gen. It just feels like a controller that goes with a next gen system. The PlayStation 5 controller, it feels and it looks like a next gen system and a next gen systems controller, if that makes any sense. Now you could have been anywhere in the world, and I appreciate that. Till next time, kalika-lika-la.